Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth video in this series of tools that I use on a day-to-day basis in the classroom, and that's whether it's a remote classroom or a real, in-person classroom. So the tool I'd like to share with you in this video is Padlet. Now you may have heard of this because it's quite a popular tool, but I do think we often forget to use, the tools that we've been using for years. So I'd like to remind you of Padlet. So just go to your search engine and search Padlet or navigate to padlet.com. You'll need to sign up, but having signed up for free, you can then start to create a Padlet. So let me show you how to create one, and then I'll show you an example of a Padlet I've used with a class. So we can click Make a Padlet. We can then choose different types of Padlets we'd like to produce. So they're effectively just different layouts. We can have a wall, which is the default. So pack content in like a brick layout. Canvas, scatter, group, and connect content in any way you want. A stream of content, a bit like a social media stream. A grid of content, which is quite nice. A shelf, and then others, including a timeline and a map, which are quite nifty. But I'm going to go for a wall, which is the default. Now, when this loads up, we have some options on the right-hand side, and we can name our Padlet. So I'm going to call this Great Classroom Tools. So this would be great for a CPD session, in this case sharing our favourite classroom tools, or it could be useful if you're using it with students of what they like to use, because if we use the tools that they engage with, we're going to have a better classroom experience. I can add a description here, share your favourite classroom tools. There you go. And then most importantly, I can change this unique address. So in order to share a Padlet, we have to share padlet.com, in my case, /ChrisTM, which is my username, and then this URL. Instead of having the really long one, I tend to name them because it makes it much easier for students to type it in. So I can go classroom tools. There we go. So I've now got padlet.com /ChrisTM/classroom tools, and that's much easier to type in or remember than this generic one up here. I can change my wallpaper. I normally can. There you go. I can choose a gradient. Let's go for blue. That's quite nice. Or the orange. Orange is nice. Let's go with orange. I can change my color scheme, light or dark, the font. I'm going to stick with the current one. And then further down here, we have attribution. So I can ask my Padlet to either display the names of the students that are posting their content, or I can have it as anonymous. I can have new posts appearing at the top, i.e. first, or I can have them appear at the bottom. Completely up to you. I can have comments on my posts, and I can have reactions. Now reactions are quite nice because I can vote, or upvote or downvote posts, so I tend to use that one as well. Then content filtering is quite nice. So students are very, very good generally, but I do tend to enable the require approval. So I have to tick or approve a post before it appears. This is more not for inappropriate posts, but more for posts that I would like to save, but whilst we have a discussion about a previous topic. So it stops the constant scrolling. I can just save them and then have them appear as I click approve. And if you want to filter profanity, if that is an issue, then you can replace bad words with emojis. I don't tend to because my students don't use profanity on there. So once you've done this, I can click next and then start posting. So you'll notice my Padlet link has now changed up here. I've got padlet.com /ChrisTM/classroom tools, and I can share using this button in the top right. I can share via a QR code, which is quite nifty, or an email, or I can just copy the link. The QR code is quite nice, so I'll often just click that and display it on the board. Students can then scan it with their mobile phones, and immediately they are able to log in to this Padlet. I can download it if I want. The other option is to copy the link to the clipboard, and you can then paste it in to your Teams or your Moodle or Class Notebook or your Google Classroom, wherever you are, and that is the same whether you're remote or in person. So let's go to an example. I had a Padlet that I used a couple of months ago called How Do You Communicate? I've chosen this one because I didn't ask students to name themselves. They're all anonymous, hence why I can show you. And so we were doing a topic on communication, and I wanted to find out, so that I could tailor the lesson, how students communicate with each other. Because if I can refer to platforms and applications they use, it's going to be far more relevant than what I think they might use. So I just asked them to list off, a whole whatever they used. So we've got Discord, Messenger, WhatsApp, Teams, Snapchat, etc., etc. And then I can, if I wanted to, I could, using the different layout, I could favorite these. I could have them upvoted, downvoted, whatever. And then I can always print this at the end. So I tend to have them share their Padlet thoughts on, in this case, level 2B comms. I have them share their thoughts on the Padlet, and then I click on the 3 dots in the top right, and I export. This is a really nice tool, so a little export button there. Having clicked export, I can save it as an image, PDF, CSV for Excel, or an Excel spreadsheet. I tend to go for an image. So it then checks that nobody is typing, which is quite nice because you don't end up with half-complete posts. And in about 15 seconds, you end up with a nice exported picture of your Padlet. There we go. So this is now my picture. I can copy it or save it, and I tend to put it into Class Notebook. And it just means that students are able to then refer back to, what they posted later on. I love online tools like this, but I'm also very keen on keeping our students inside of things like Class Notebook or Moodle or Google Classroom, because it just means they're not distracted by other platforms. So once we've used the tool, we then close it, and I then copy the image or save the image, and I put it into the platform of choice, Moodle, Class Notebook, whatever. So hopefully that's been a nice little insight into Padlet. There are more features. The free version allows you to have, I believe, 10 separate Padlets. Then you have to delete the old ones or archive them. But it is a great tool, a really great tool. There is a paid option as well if you want to. So I'd recommend you try it, padlet.com, sign up for free, and give it a go. If you'd like any more support, please get in touch using the details at the end of this video. Thank you.